Imagine a time before telescopes, before GPS, before even the written word. How did humanity navigate vast oceans, know when to plant crops, or simply understand their place in the sprawling cosmos? The answer wasn't on the ground. It was written in the stars. The ancient night sky wasn't just a collection of pretty lights. For civilizations like the Sumerians, Egyptians, and the Mayans, it was their clock, their calendar, and their sacred text. Long before modern astronomy, they looked up and saw not just random, but patterns, stories, and a grand cosmic order. They connected these, identifying distinct shapes that we now know as the first constellations. These weren't just simple outlines. They were the celestial storytellers, holding the keys to survival and meaning in a world full of unknowns. This deep, intimate relationship with the night sky was the first great intellectual adventure of humankind, a quest to make sense of the universe using only their eyes and their minds. These star patterns weren't just abstract geometric shapes. They were a canvas for human imagination, a sky full of gods, heroes, monsters, and epic tales. Each constellation was imbued with rich mythology that reflected the culture, values, and beliefs of the people who named it. The Great Bear, the Hunter, the Scorpion, these weren't just names. They were characters in a celestial drama that played out every single night. These stories were more than entertainment. They were a way to pass down traditions, moral lessons, and a shared cultural identity from one generation to the next. But this wisdom wasn't just about myth and magic. It had incredibly practical applications. For agricultural societies, the position of certain constellations was a matter of life and death. The appearance of Orion in the winter sky might signal the coming of the cold, while the rising of the Pleiades cluster could tell an Egyptian farmer it was time to prepare for the Nile's annual flood, which was essential for their crops. For sailors venturing into the unknown, the stars were the only reliable map. Polaris, the North Star, was a constant beacon, guiding voyages across vast, featureless oceans and deserts. This practicality gave rise to the cosmic calendar effect. Ancient people noticed that constellations didn't stay in one place. They rose and set with the seasons, moving across the sky in a predictable cyclical dance. By tracking these movements, they could mark the passage of time with incredible accuracy. The winter solstice, the spring equinox, the height of summer, all these crucial milestones were signaled by the stars. This celestial clockwork allowed them to organize their lives, plan their festivals, and build their societies in harmony with the rhythms of the cosmos. The sophistication of this ancient knowledge is literally set in stone. All around the world, we find incredible structures that prove our ancestors were not just casual stargazers, but master astronomers. Think of Stonehenge in England. Its massive stones are precisely aligned to mark the sunrise on the summer solstice and the sunset on the winter solstice. Or look at Chichen Itza in Mexico, where the Pyramid of El Castillo is designed so that during the spring and autumn equinoxes, the sun casts a shadow that looks like a serpent slithering down the staircase. These weren't accidents. They were giant functional observatories built to capture and celebrate the grand cycles of the heavens. This brings us to one of the most famous and most misunderstood ancient systems, the Zodiac. Today, we think of it as a tool for daily horoscopes, but its true origin is far more scientific. The Zodiac was originally a practical astronomical tool. Ancient astronomers, particularly the Babylonians, noticed that the sun, moon, and planets appeared to travel along a specific path through the sky over the course of a year. They divided this path into 12 segments, each marked by a prominent constellation. This belt of constellations was the Zodiac. It was a celestial coordinate system, a way to track the position of the sun and predict the changing of the seasons. It was a calendar, not a crystal ball. So much of this incredible knowledge was passed down orally for countless generations. The stories of the stars were told around campfires, and methods of navigation taught from master to apprentice. When writing was finally developed, this ancient wisdom was recorded, creating a foundation of knowledge that would shape the future of human thought. It's a humbling reminder that long before our modern scientific era, our ancestors possessed a profound and practical understanding of the universe, a lost wisdom whose legacy endures to this day. The journey of this ancient lore into modern science is a fascinating story of transmission and transformation. The ancient Greeks, for example, didn't start from scratch. Scholars like Ptolemy synthesized the astronomical observations of the Babylonians and Egyptians, compiling them into a comprehensive model of the cosmos. While their geocentric view, idea that the Earth was the center of the universe, was ultimately incorrect. Their systematic approach and detailed star catalogues laid the groundwork for astronomy as a formal science. They took the myths and observations of older cultures and began to organize them with logic and mathematics. After the fall of the Roman Empire, much of this knowledge could have been lost to the West, but it was preserved and brilliantly expanded upon during the Islamic Golden Age. From Baghdad to Cordoba, scholars in the Arabic-speaking world became the world's leading astronomers. They translated the ancient Greek texts, corrected their errors, and made their own groundbreaking observations. They built advanced observatories, developed new instruments like the astrolabe, and created incredibly detailed star catalogs that were far more accurate than anything that had come before. It was through the work of these scholars that the wisdom of the ancients was transmitted back into medieval Europe. This great transmission of knowledge set the stage for the scientific revolution. When thinkers like Copernicus and Kepler began to question the old Earth-centered model, they weren't working in a vacuum. They were standing on the shoulders of giants, using the very star charts and observational data that had been painstakingly collected and passed down for millennia, from the Babylonians through the Greeks and the Islamic world. The ancient observations, even with their flawed assumptions, contained the crucial data that ultimately helped humanity realize our true place in the solar system, sparking a cosmic shift in our understanding that continues to this day. So why does all this ancient history matter now? In an age of space telescopes and quantum physics, it's easy to dismiss these old stories as primitive, but that misses the point. The human quest to understand the universe through constellations was the very first step on our long journey to the stars. It was the birth of curiosity, the dawn of the scientific impulse. It shows us that the desire to look up and ask, "What's out there?" is a fundamental part of what makes us human. Understanding these ancient interpretations also connects us to our shared cultural heritage. When you look up at the constellation Orion, you're not just seeing stars. You're seeing the same celestial hunter that the ancient Greeks, Egyptians, and countless other cultures saw. You're connecting with thousands of years of human history, art, and imagination. These stories of the stars are a universal language that transcends time and borders. So the next time you're under a clear night sky, take a moment. Look up and try to see the patterns. Think about the countless generations of ancestors who looked at those exact same stars, not with telescopes, but with a sense of wonder, reverence, and a burning need to understand. They saw calendars, guides, gods, and heroes. They found their place in the universe written in starlight. That cosmic inheritance belongs to all of us. The constant question, the one that started it all, is still there, waiting for us in the night sky. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through the cosmos, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from our amazing universe.